This video will show how to make LTE measurements using the R&SRFSH handheld spectrum analyzer. In this case, we will use the signal generator, the SMBV100A, to generate an appropriate LTE signal connected to the FSH using a cable. First, we must select the LTE measurement mode on the FSH. Now we can select our measurement frequency, in our case 1 GHz, as we are simply using a generator. Next, we should hit level adjust to adjust the front end of the instrument to measure the signal appropriately. Under antenna settings, you can see that we can look at several kinds of LTE signals. We can look at SISO signals, MIMO 2x2 signals, or MIMO 4x4. We can look at signals over the air or directly connected. In our case, we are looking at a MIMO 2x2 signal, looking at channel 1. Under signal settings, you'll see many of the settings here are set to automatic, such as cell ID, cyclic prefix, and synchronization signal. If we wish, we can set these manually, and that will enable faster synchronization to the base station. One of the settings we do need to set manually is the channel bandwidth. And in our case, we are looking at a 20 MHz LTE signal. There are several different result displays that we can look at. The first one we will look at is the spectrum overview. This will show us the spectrum view of our signal without having to switch back into the spectrum mode of the FSH. As well, it shows other measurement parameters such as the RF channel power, the occupied bandwidth, and the power within the span. Looking next to the constellation diagram, this will show an overview of our constellations of our LTE signal, showing the synchronization channel, control channels, as well as the data channels. If we wish, we can go under display settings and choose which specific allocations we wish to look at, such as just the data of a certain kind of modulation, for example. Another very useful result display is the BTS scanner. This can show up to 8 LTE signals. It will display the cell ID, as well as information such as the power. As we are simply using a signal generator, we only have one LTE signal present. So under display settings, you can see which displayed cell property we wish to view. Going back to the results summary, at the top of the screen, you will see settings for the FSH, such as our center frequency, our channel bandwidth, our reference level. In the center, you see global results for the LTE signal, the composite LTE signal. So here it's showing our measured channel power, our overall EVM, as well as other quality measurements. The bottom portion of the screen will depend on which antenna settings you have. As we are looking at one transmission channel, it is actually able to give us EVM information for our data carrier, as well as our synchronization and control channels. This was a short video showing how to make LTE measurements with the R&SRFSH handheld spectrum analyzer.